Hello there and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars Ascendancy. So this is a mod in the Thrawn's Revenge series of mods. This one is for Sins of a Solar Empire. This is also an in-development version, so the last version we released was towards the end of last year, actually, adding the veterancy mechanic to the mod. And so what we're doing with this version, 1.1.6, is working a bit more on some of the balance for the existing factions before we move into the next faction, which is going to be the Hapes Consortium. So there's been some ability changes, some stat changes to ships, some tech changes, and we're just going to take a look at some of those today. Unfortunately, we can't look at all the ability changes that have been made already. There was an issue where one of the changes is causing it to crash, so we're just trying to, or I'm just trying to find what's doing that, and then we'll be able to get those in as well. But what we plan to do soon is release a beta version of the mod. So that we can get people onto a newer version than what they've been playing with and get some feedback on some of the changes that have been made so far, see how they're working out, and then proceed with the rest of them. Then we'll release that, and then we'll move on to the next playable faction, which the groundwork has already been started on. It is the Hapes Consortium. But what I'm going to be doing today is playing as the New Republic. We're going to be allied with the Empire of the Hand, and we are going to be playing against the Imperial Remnant and the Pentastar alignment. So we're going to be on Balance Point, which is a 36 planet map, and we'll get into it. So another thing that's actually being worked on right now is having a bit more variance in the militia forces and balancing them out a little bit as well. So instead of just always being Imperials, you'll be able to run into New Republic, Empire of the Hand, Imperial, or other stuff like Capins or Siruvi, all the stuff that's in the mod currently, but just turned into militia forces so that there's a bit more variety for that. That is quite loud. I'm going to actually turn that down a little bit. So hopefully that's a little bit better. And hopefully we're going to be able to get a lot of the VO that was put into Imperial Civil War into Ascendancy for the upcoming release, so that's going to be something that I start working on soon if Waylawful doesn't have time. I usually like to start off getting civilian research with the New Republic, so we can get into our trade ports right away. And ooh, they've already got that scouted. Bilbringi only has one opening, so what do they actually have there? Lancers, carry construction. Okay, so I'm gonna grab our starting forces and send them on in. So this Friday we're actually going to be starting the Greater Maldrude preview series for ICW, so I figured this would be a good time to get an Ascendancy series in. I would like to get a community match going on this weekend, so that'll be in the currently existing version of the mod. The problem with that though is that Stardock did release a patch which kind of messed with the main menu. We released a patch to patch the issues that it caused, but a lot of people seem to be having trouble finding that because people keep asking why the menu's messed up and the downloads aren't super high for it. So we might not be able to do a community match for it properly like that, in which case I might have to delay it until after the full new update of the mod, which is not ideal, but if it shouldn't be more than a couple weeks before we get the beta out, because I do want to start getting some research and moving on with what we're doing next. This should be fairly simple. Let's get you in there, and I am going to get our Gallifrey over this way. Extend the strike cruiser. Do we have any veterancy yet? Yes, we do. Damage reduction and damage output are increased, so that one has a veterancy stack. This strike cruiser, nothing. But yeah, so the PA was usually doing really, really well. So their power's been brought down a little bit, just generally with the build. Basically everything is being balanced kind of around Dala and the PA the way they were doing. So some of their power has been brought down a little bit, but other stuff has usually been, the general idea is to bring them up to roughly that level. They were the gold standard we were bouncing against. And there's a lot of also art assets that we're going to be bringing in too. So like this Lancer has been replaced, the Lucra Hulk has been updated, a lot of stuff has been updated. So that'll start coming into the mod fairly soon. I've worked out my schedule a little bit better, so I should be able to focus on all 3 mods a little bit more consistently. So there should start being a lot more movement on that. We built our trade port, so I'm also going to build up Durasteel production, and we're going to make sure we get a trade port in here too. Let's do that first. You can get that fairly soon. And I'm not going to get boarding party. You know, I may as well. I'll have to research it. And one of the things that causes the most confusion in the mod right now, you can see the credit income rate kind of fluctuates a little bit. If you look at the bottom there, it goes from like 15.5, 15.6, 15.7, 15.4. That's because each ship costs its own upkeep. And you can see on this one, abilities are disabled on this one because I think it's a projection. But yeah, so this one minus 0.1 credits. So that tells you every second how much that costs you. But the problem is that only goes to 1 decimal place, which at the lowest level would tell you that nothing's actually being spent, even when it is. So it's lying to you. And
the Senate won't approve
the
policy research complete.
It isn't very accurate. So and oh, what I was trying to say, and this doesn't sync with the ticks, so each one only takes away credits every 5 seconds in one lump sum, which even if you had it take away credits every second, it wouldn't sync up because it's whatever CPU tick the ability started working on, it seems. So what the total income isn't the most reliable. You'd have to look at the planet breakdown and the trade porting income breakdown and add those to know what you're actually making, and then just have a general idea what your ships are costing. So we want to put that information into the tooltips with 100% accuracy, so you always know exactly what each ship is costing you. So that should make stuff a little bit more manageable, but generally the idea is that when you're spending too much, you can mothball the ships, which you can see here. We want to mothball this one. That turns everything off for it, and if you want to unmothball it, that'll reactivate it. So that's actually going to be split into 2 different abilities, and then we're going to give them an icon so it's more obvious that it's an actual thing. We might even put it somewhere else on the planet, because most people don't check their shipyards for abilities, but I guess when you have the icon there, it'll be, if people select the shipyards rather than the planets, they'll have to see it. But yeah, so that should all be a little more clear, and I think I do want to get a military lab next. Let's actually get those built up, and then military lab right there. We can start moving into Obersky now. Our poor little ferret. Alright, so let's give the order to jump, and jump together. So yeah, I'm probably going to be posting the episodes for this every day this week until it's done. Usually the Sins games are only 3 or 4 episodes, so that'll get us through to the Greater Maldrude playthrough. I usually don't do teams, so let's actually check what the Emperor of the Hand's up to. I'm also thinking about popping in some Knights of the Old Republic music in the background here, because I can't use the official trilogy music for copyright reasons, but usually the KOTOR stuff doesn't get copyright strikes. So if you guys want to let me know how that seems to you, if it's better or worse than usual having that happen. Yeah, let's get the growth rate increased there. Maybe get
The
quasars.
Senate won't approve funding for that.
And yeah, we'll let that happen. Boarding parties tech level 2. Or 2 military labs, not really tech level.
We have reached our designated coordinates.
Here we go, and let's focus down the VSD2. These are probably going to get removed from medium militia. I think this is a large militia anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But sometimes the medium militia feels a little bit like a slog to get through. So with the militia changes that are coming up, that's probably something that's going to change. And I do apologize for being a bit quieter than usual. I'm recording this pretty late at night, so I'm trying not to wake up my roommate, but I probably already have anyways. Alright, that looks like that's done for. And let's go for the strike cruiser next. I do want to make it so that stuff has more varied ranges and work out some of the differences between individual ships a little bit better, because that is currently one of the weaknesses in the mod, and that's one of the things that the balance changes are starting to address. We do have a full spreadsheet with all the stats for everything, and once the release goes up, I'm actually going to make that public, so people can just see everything if they're interested. It's all color-coded too, which is always helpful. But I like spreadsheets, so I tend to have them around. Hopefully we get another level out of this. Right, we actually just gained a veterancy stat because that was happening. You can see the damage reduction in credit output. Or, not credit output. Damage reduction in damage or output. Not, yeah. Alright, can we move over to Vindicator now? Oh, before we continue, I always like to get a background that matches the faction a little bit better. I think a nice red one works. Alright. The Mon Calamari cruisers are actually getting their art updated as well. We did update them a little bit in the last ICW build, so we'll probably plug those models, those model and texture updates into Ascendancy, but we'll probably be updating them a little bit more as well, because they were just edits in ICW. They weren't full remodels or anything. The MC80B is probably going to be the first one to be done with that, because it's super ugly. But we should be good to get a... Let's see, another military lab? Yes. And then we'll get some MC80B, or MC40As and some assault frigates. So let's do that. And...
We have established a garrison in a new system.
let's also get boarding party, so we can take advantage of that and capture a few units. What about the scouts?
We don't have enough to ban a gas.
Build that up. And we'll need some more civilian research. This Tabana is pretty important. Getting over Sky is definitely going to help with that. How is the Empire of the Hand Fleet doing? Well, this is a shipyard world, too. I kind of want to make the lasers a little bit smaller so the scale of the mod comes across, or the scale of the ships comes across a little bit better. Because right now the ships feel like they're very small. Partially because the distance that ships are at when they're fighting, which can still fit. But I think the bigger issue is just the size of the lasers compared to them. So we'll see if that does anything for us. Which it should. And... alright. where do we want to go next? The safest way would just be to go back here, but I want to go down towards where the Empire is going to be building as quickly as possible. If that means that the Empire of the Hand gets Sullust, that's fine. And whatever planet this is, I can't remember. That's probably also fine. This map is not based on canon planet positions. It's it all uses fixed Star Wars planet names, but for most of the maps in the mod, it was entirely canon positions. So we're gonna put probably some sort of like name tag indicator or indicator in the name, which ones are like canon positions and which ones are just canon names and which ones are just a bunch of stuff thrown together for whatever reason. Because we do need a few more competitive maps. Right now, this one is the only one that was more designed to be completely symmetrical and competitive, like fair for competitive multiplayer. And really, that's something with Sins where it shines in a way that Empire War doesn't, is that it's really good for competitive multiplayer matches. So that's what we're trying to work a little bit more towards with design of the mod overall. So, we'll also get Civic Research Station. I try to keep it all packed closely together in the gravity wells, just in case we need to build some defenses around it. Okay, let's get the Lancer first, I guess, because it's right there. And it's old and gross. Yeah, like the lasers are almost the length of the ship. Okay, there we go. We killed it before anything got to us. Let's take the Carrack out. They actually have really good ion damage. So they're super good against shields. And they have an ability that actually helps against that too. Okay, that one's dead. Indicator. And VSD2 now. Let's actually get those first. Tabana is what we're hurting for right now. Because Sins. Alright, Kashyyyk, what does it actually have? 1 Tabana, 2 Durasteel. Sullust had 2 Durasteel, you had 2 Tabana. Okay, well I might actually want to try to loop around to there. Ooh, we captured the VSD. See, this is an issue, the engines that were fixed in ICW. So that'll have to be fixed in Sins as well. Or in Ascendancy as well. And one of the things we want to do with the ISD and VSD is move some of the poly budget from stuff like the collision mesh and shadow mesh in ICW and add a little bit more to the engines in the back in general. We don't want to go overboard with polys because one of the things we do like about, or we do try to focus on with the mod is keeping good performance. So we don't go up to like 20 to 70,000 polys per model, but we're moving a bit more towards like 10 to 12,000 for capital ships, which should be okay. Whereas before we were at like 3 to 6,000. So we should be able to add a significant amount of quality, and as long as we play our cards right with optimization, it shouldn't detract from performance in any way for either mod.
The Senate won't approve funding for that.
Because Sin's the biggest thing is CPU anyways. With memory limits, after we started compressing the models, that's less of an issue. So we don't want to go overboard with it, but we should have a bit more room to play with.
We have established a garrison in a new system. The Senate won't approve funding for that.
Alright, we can sell more of this. Let's get that going. Get these.
The Senate won't approve funding for that.
Alright, and we wanted to go around this way, because I think this planet connects to here, and then that'll get us to... No, it won't even get us to Pakrik. Unless they're retreating? Ooh, actually...
Policy research complete.
See if we can take that from under them. And we'll send those ships that we're building into Kashyyyk. And we'll bring those fleets together in a bit. But let's get our next expanded trade upgrade.
We have finished a planetary upgrade.
Military. We can get to the MC80B in one more thing. So next thing we'll build here will be a military lab. Just want to get that queued up, and then we should be good to go. Oh, I guess we need to change the Carriac icon to furrows as well. Because we renamed a lot of the Empire of the Hand ships, but I guess what the icons are still using the original names. So before they were just sort of made up whatever, but now we've started going with a more standard. Can I set that as a waypoint?
We have finished a planetary upgrade. The enemy has engaged our forces. Support has arrived.
But yeah, so what was I even saying? I got distracted. Oh well.
We have reached our designated coordinates.
Okay, careful there. Let's go for the strike cruiser.
Stations on standby.
The VSD its shields are back, so I'm not super worried about that. There we go. MC80B. Oh yeah, so Empire of the Hand ship names. That's what I was saying. Before they made up stuff, now they're all based on Greek words because of the phalanx we wanted to keep. So they're all like pretty simple names. It's like skirmisher or thrower, guardian, wall, that kind of thing, just translated directly into Greek. It's basically based on the whole Imperial and Republic stuff used Latin. So we thought just like a, I guess, cool little in-universe thing to do would be to make Chun, the Chiss language, be more Greek referencing. Because if anyone's ever read Outbound Flight, when they do talk about some of the actual Chun words in Star Wars, it did sort of sound more that way, with basic being more like Latin, since it is just whatever language people happen to be reading the books in.
Increase power to weapons.
Support has arrived.
I don't need support.
We have finished a planetary upgrade.
There should that could be a good credit planet for us. Can we take Patrick Minor? Are we gonna get there first? I mean, they're still fighting stuff. The Ascendancy really needs a model update too. That's pretty close on my list. Right now I'm working on the Asserter, the Invincible,
We have established
and Recusant for some other stuff. I don't know if any of that's really going to be used in Ascendancy, but it is going to be in ICW, so there's always a chance. But once that's done, I think I'm going to move on to probably the Ascendancy and the Nebula class Star Destroyer, and then the Endurance, because that's going to be that. I mean, that's similar ships. It's a subclass kind of deal, altered class for the Nebula. Same hull.
Cruiser ready.
Okay,
All
so let's
stations
go
on
back to
standby.
Nar Shaddaa.
Helm ahead full.
Ooh, actually no.
Ahead
We'll leave
full.
Nar Shaddaa for the Empire of the Hand, and we're going to go for Coruscant before anyone takes that. And how are we doing? So let's see. We're fourth for fleet, second for capital ships, first for economy, first for everything in Empire except for research. So
The Senate won't approve funding.
that's kind of to be expected, because they do get so many bonuses, the AI. That's most of how Sin's AI works. But we'll have to start making sure that we're setting up defenses, probably at Rishi, Coruscant, and if we're able to make it to whatever planet this is, that one. Because I don't know if these... Oh yeah, they would go out in a line like that. So we'll have to go around behind Kashyyyk and try to get to those as well. Or if we can go from whatever this one is too. But the Empire of the Hand really needs to get colonizing.
We have finished a planetary upgrade.
Well, we can see what they're at. Oh god, that is a lot of stuff. Got some raiders. I really like raiders. And I like Architects as well.
The enemy has engaged our forces.
But yeah, the Lugerhulk model is being replaced with the much better one. It's just not in game yet. I do think this one looks a lot better in Ascendancy than it ended up looking in ICW. A lot of stuff just renders better in Sins. Alright, so hopefully
batteries ready.
when we get to Coruscant, I don't regret everything I've done in my life. Which does mean we're probably going to need to research some of these extra defensive stuff.
We have finished a planetary upgrade.
Is it just us for Coruscant? Cool. Alright, let's focus down the Vindicator. Actually, because I'm going to be doing other stuff, I'm going to focus down the VST. Technically, the Vindicator's closer, and then if I was going to switch, it'd be more efficient. But because I'm not going to be paying attention, let's do that, and we need quite a bit to get to the ion cannon. Ooh,
Policy research complete.
this could be bad.
All stations on standby.
Alright, let's get back.
Helm ahead full.
Are they leaving? We have some defensive stations. Yeah, looks like they're leaving.
Increase to flank.
Alright, let's focus
Lancer
down here
frigate
still.
ready. Intensify laser fire.
So... let's just get the rest of those slots. And we can call in our first hero,
Planet is
too.
under attack.
Imperial credit exchange rates lowered in Outer Rim sectors.
Oh, we don't have the ship slots for it. So military,
We need to complete further policy
do that.
research.
Let's get the Dauntless ready next. And I am gonna give it... I'm gonna cancel that. And cancel that. I'm gonna get an MC-80B first.
Cruiser ready.
Support.
Dreadnoughts.
Policy research complete.
All stations on standby. Increase power to weapons. Cruiser ready.
Ew. Running out of fighters.
All stations on standby. Increase power to weapons.
Ooh, are you helping me? Not really.
Policy research complete.
You're sending a lambda. Okay, so I think we're actually going to leave that there for today's episode. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. Again, we're going to probably have these episodes going up every day. I'll try to record them at more convenient times so I don't wake up my roommate. But thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.